Once again, it's a privilege to be welcome into your homes. Today we are reading from Luke chapter 21, verse 20 to 28. Jesus said to his disciples, "When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, you must realize that she will soon be laid desolate. Then those in Judea must escape to the mountains. Those inside the city must leave it, and those in country districts must not take refuge in it. For this is the time of vengeance, when all that scripture says must be fulfilled. Alas, for those with child, or with babies at the breast, when those days come. For great mystery will descend on the land and wrath on these people. They will fall by the edge of the sword and be led captive to every pagan country. And Jerusalem will be trampled down by the pagans until the age of the pagan is completely over. There will be signs in the sun and moon and stars. On earth, nations in agony, bewailed by the clamor of the ocean and its waves, men dying of fear as they await what menaces the world. For the powers of heaven will be shaken, and then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. When these things begin to take place, stand erect, hold your heads high, because your liberation is near at hand." Jesus paints a very distressing picture of the future in today's reading. He looks ahead to the destruction of Jerusalem by the Romans, resulting in its inhabitants being killed or taken into captivity. In those dark days, for the holy city, nature itself will seem to share the anguish of the city and its inhabitants, with disconcerting signs in the sun and the moon and the stars. Jesus seems to be using a very dark palette to paint this scene, yet a light emerges against the dark background. Jesus declares that at the very moment when people are dying of fear, the Son of Man will come with great power and glory. His power is not a destructive power like the power of Rome, but a liberating power, a power that frees people from all that threatens to destroy them. Stand erect, hold your heads high, because your liberation is near at hand. Jesus does not play down the dark, destructive forces that threaten God's people, but he insists that these dark forces will not ultimately win out. There is a greater force at work among us, God's force or power, present through his risen Son, the force of love that liberates and makes whole. Dear friends, we are all called to be channels of that liberating force of God. We can allow ourselves to be paralyzed by the dark forces that struck the land, or we can hold our heads high in confident hope, in the assurance that the Lord of all is in our midst, and trusting in the words of St. Paul that his power working among us can do immeasurably more than all we can ask or imagine. Shalom. Peace.